Hi, everyone. We are here with two very special guests that NMC audiences, of course, know very well. Our founding artistic director, the legendary flute player Robert Aitken, who we are celebrating this month, as well as an amazing flute talent in her own right and frequent NMC player, his daughter Dianne Aitken. Bob and Dianne, it's so great to have you perform together on this series and to be here to talk about it. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are happy to do it.
Now, this is really an amazing series of performances that we're sure will have resonance in the flute world and new music world for years to come. Now, can you tell us a bit about the journey of creating this program and where did you begin?
Never afraid to email somebody and introduce myself and ask if I can see their music, things like that. But so with Sean Oak Pebblewell, in fact, it came about because Lei Liang had just received a big award from the American Academy of Arts and Letters. And periodically, Lei and I will write to each other, hi, how are you? Congratulations on your recent award. And so I went on the website to see about the award because I didn't know about the Goddard Lieberson Fellowship. There's way more awards in the US, I might add. But Sean's picture was right beside Lei's on the whole list of composers that had just received awards. And I thought, oh, I don't know him, I'll check him out. So I emailed him and introduced myself, and he kindly sent me his music. And I really, really enjoyed learning it and performing it. It's a definite challenge, but I'm attracted by the sound source. There's a lot of sort of extended technique stuff. But I think the part that I really liked was the call and response section. I really liked that. And when Dad and I started rehearsing, we were in opposite rooms, far apart, socially distanced. He was in his dining room, I was in his living room.
That's true.
But I have to say that was a bit of a challenge because we couldn't hear half the sounds. Like, what did you just do? I can't hear you. Okay, maybe we can get a little bit closer.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that, the rehearsal process, and I think one of the amazing kind of charming things about this show is that we see father-daughter duo both playing flute. So what is that like, if we can ask, to have a father-daughter duo, and what is that like?
Well, we each try not to criticize the other person too much. Because despite being father-daughter, we are individuals. And there have been through the years father-daughters, father-sons relationships, including my teacher, which Dianne also spent time with, Marcel Moïse, and his son Louis Moïse. They are different personalities and they play differently, and they even though they understand very well what the other one is doing or trying to do or wants to do, but they don't do it the same way. So we have a little bit of that going on.
Different preferences of style too, I would say.
Yes, yeah, and sometimes arguments, but technically speaking, there are some things, like all flutists, there are some things one can do better than the other. And so about what's Michael's piece, she can do and especially
pizzicatos.
Piccolo, she can do those better than any flute player I know. Right, and she can really
I like the pizzicatos.
And tongue rams, that kind of thing. She can do them very, very well. So of course you're attracted to those kinds of pieces. When you, at the beginning, you asked how did we choose our programs? Well, we made sure we avoided any pieces that we have difficulty doing.
No,
but don't forget, right, and don't forget the flute. The flute is the most popular instrument today, and it always was the most popular instrument for centuries. Since Baroque times, it was always the most popular because it could play the music of the time very well. And I would say most of our best pieces are really being composed today. And no better instrument for doing extra musical extensions, extra musical sounds than the flute. Mhm. There are
So
people,
Huge palette.
right?
that is what
If
I
you
well, that's what I
understand,
want to ask you about. Like, what if you look around in the flute world today? Like, what is it you're seeing that's exciting? Is there something that you see that's happening today in the future in the flute world?
that's what I like about you, Brian. You always look
Well,
from the
the,
positive side. My inclination would have been to say, what don't you like about the flute playing today? But you say, what do I like about it? You're forcing me. But Dianne, she's always optimistic, so you can
well,
say what you like.
there's so many possibilities, right? I mean, there are a gazillion different styles of flute playing. I don't beatbox, I might add. I leave that to Greg Patillo and all the other numerous beatbox flute players who are amazing, I might add. But I think the key is that you want to communicate. You have something to say and you want to communicate. And yeah, I don't know. Flute world, it's the world, really. Like there's the flute in every culture. It's
True.
not like there's no separation, right? It's part of life. You play the flute and that's it. No, I'm kidding. But my students would say, hey, how do you do that? Some of them were like, I didn't know you could even make that sound.
Right.
So that was kind of fun to show them the possibilities that they could do, because then they can start to communicate with their friends, and that's a cool thing too.
Oh, and they love to do it. The kids love to make the new sounds. Absolutely.
And
But
adults.
I think in a larger sense, there is a change in the flute world. And it's really conceptually, I don't find there's as much depth of interpretation, depth of feeling, depth of sound in the sounds which people are making today. If you listen to even older records or from Rampal, which are not that old, it's a different kind of expression which is coming low down in the body from their feet, from the ground, in fact, from the ground up through the body and into the instrument. I don't find that as much. And I think the ears of people have changed because they're not listening for that kind of sound. The result is the instruments are being made to satisfy the taste of the listening public. And I find the listening public, it's a bit more, it's thinner, more superfluous, I would say, than in the past. But that could well come from the music also that is being composed, because now we do need to know how to do all these. If it's real contemporary music, you do have to know a lot of new techniques and new sounds. And to do those, it's not possible to do it from the bottom up. It's starting more up here in this kind of way. So a lot of instruments are built that way today, and you can't even get a big, round, warm sound. Composers write it still. Some composers want that kind of sound, but it's hard for people to get it because they're not trained that way anymore. They're more, and circular breathing, for example, you only breathe from the chest up. You're always you're blowing out through your lip while you're breathing in through your nose. Well, you can't do that from the bottom of your stomach, of course. So there is a really conceptual different sound today than even in my lifetime, which would be 30 or 40 years ago. Yeah.
Not to be contrary, but you know me and Dad, we have different opinions about things. I think in the past, people did speak about extended techniques as being something separate, and only contemporary flute players would approach those. I think it's the norm now.
Yes.
It's just like you shouldn't even have that as a term. It's just that's part of technique. You just do it.
Yeah.
Why call it something extended? It's not extended, it's normal.
It's true.
So that's the amazing thing about the avant-garde. It normalizes things after, 20 or 30 years. So it's not extended technique anymore. It's just technique. But I think our audiences would want us to ask you about the Takemitsu, because you both play it so wonderfully. And if you could just talk a little bit about maybe your relationship to Takemitsu, Bob, and maybe that piece with him.
Well, Takemitsu was like family for us. We met him, of course, when he came for the Toronto Symphony. I think it was in '67, around then, for November Steps, his fabulous piece with shakuhachi and the biwa. For some reason or other, we became good friends right from the beginning. I'm not sure why. And very shortly after, he actually got me invited to Japan to record Mask, the piece that we did here. So I've been playing that piece since 1965 or 6, something like that, 67, I guess. And to play it, you do note, and this is one occasion when you do need to know a little bit about the source of the music. So you do need to know a bit about Japanese music to play that piece properly. And you need to know a bit about no drama, because the flute is so important in all of Japanese music, all of Japanese arts, rather. So that, yeah, and we went to no dramas. They've seen no dramas, and also bunraku and all of these different things, and the shakuhachi. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much, you two. And we have to go on to the performance now. So our audience will hear you play in just a few minutes. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.